everyone, myself is Divya Bahal, Assistant Professor in Chemical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. The subject which we are going to do is Mass Transfer Operations 2. Okay, so in last lecture we studied about various laws, Dalton's law, Raoult's law. Okay, in last lecture we finished the Dalton's law. Okay, now moving forward, the another topic in your syllabus is effect of pressure on equilibrium diagram. Okay, see, in the previous lectures we studied about effect of pressure on the boiling point. Okay, it was established that as we increase the pressure, what happens is your boiling point goes on increases. Okay, why it increase? Because what you are doing at the end, you are creating extra pressure and hence it is hard for vapors to escape the liquid surface. Okay, thus your vapor pressure is reducing. Okay, the reduction of vapor pressure means your boiling point is increasing. Okay, now it will take more energy for the vapors to escape the liquid surface. Okay, hence with increasing pressure, what you are doing, you are increasing your boiling point. So let's see. Okay, yes, as pressure increases, so boiling point of pure species goes on increasing. Okay, now here you must be clear about boiling point and bubble point. Boiling point is the temperature for your pure species. When we are talking about mixture, you take into account bubble point. Okay, because for mixture the boiling point would be in the range of your more volatile component and less volatile component. Okay, so for mixture, the temperature at which your first bubble is formed, that is your bubble point. Okay, whereas for pure species that is not the case, you have boiling point for it. Okay, now how? As pressure increases, the volatility goes on decreasing. It means no difference between x and y decreases. Okay, it's simple, you can relate it yourself also, like you're increasing the pressure. What is volatility at the end? Okay, it is a tendency of escaping of vapors from liquid surface. Okay, now of course as you're increasing the pressure, your volatility is going to decrease. Your vapors are not going to form that easily. So it means now difference between y and x decreases. Okay, it means the component, your more volatile component in vapor phase and liquid phase, that difference would be less. Okay, it means your more volatile component is not able to escape the liquid surface into vapor phase. It means that. Now how you can relate your pressure with your relative volatility? So see, that was discussed earlier also in last lecture, that relative volatility is the factor. Okay, it is the factor which decides your separation tendency of more volatile and less volatile component. We discussed that earlier also. More the relative volatility, more easier it is for vapors to form. Okay, it is more easier for your more volatile component. For example, for mixture of benzene and toluene, benzene is more volatile component. Okay, greater the alpha relative volatility, okay, greater the difference between boiling temperatures of benzene and toluene, it is more easy for benzene, which is more volatile. Okay, it is the volatile one. It is more easy for benzene to escape the liquid surface and get transferred into vapor phase. Okay, then and only then it is viable, it is okay to use distillation as separation process. Okay, because you are able to take out your volatile component from liquid to vapor phase. Okay, that is the enrichment. Okay, how you are separating your component, more volatile component, from a mixture. You are taking more and more out into vapor phase. Okay, so more the relative volatility, easier is the separation. Now as you are increasing the pressure, your relative volatility is going to decrease. We will study it further relating certain thermodynamic properties also. Okay, now let's see how. Now this is example of how your boiling takes place. Okay, simple, the pressure exerted by vapors on liquid surface, that is your vapor pressure. Okay, what is it? What was the definition of boiling point? The temperature at which your vapor pressure is equal to the existing pressure. Okay, suppose this is open to atmosphere. So if my vapor pressure is equal to 1 atmosphere, then is when my boiling takes place. Okay, if I am increasing the pressure, suppose I have increased it to 2 atm. Okay, now I have to heat my liquid more. So as to, if I have to increase the temperature, now I have to increase my temperature more. then and only then that much amount of, it means I'm applying more energy now, more energy to the liquid, so as more vapors are formed, and it will take time so as to reach 2 atm. Okay, as compared to 1 atm, now for 2 atm I have to give more boiling. That is, now my temperature has been increased, boiling point has been increased. Simple example, taking example of water. So this is your boiling point diagram for with respect to pressure. Okay, now vapor, see, you can see, we know that what is the boiling point of water. It is 100 degrees Celsius at 1 atmospheric pressure. Okay, so when my vapor pressure is equal to 1 atmosphere, at that time my temperature is, boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius. Now you can see graphically, if I am increasing it to 2 atm, okay, then of course my temperature would increase. Now you can see it is not a straight line curve. Okay, that you will study further, especially in thermodynamics and in distillation column also. At your low pressure condition and high pressure condition, what is the sensitivity if you vary your pressure? Right now you just have to know that your boiling point with respect to pressure, it is not a straight line graph. It increases exponentially. Okay, gradually it increases. So yes, I can say that if I am increasing my pressure, suppose take example at 2 atm, of course it would be more than 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, now it simply means that now I have decreased my volatility because I am increasing the pressure. Okay, I am creating a hindrance, so more energy has to be given to liquid surface. Now separation factor or your relative volatility, that was discussed earlier also. You can see this is your equilibrium curve. Okay, in second or third lecture we discussed what is, so in the important boiling point diagrams, your y versus x is your equilibrium curve. Okay, it shows the composition, vapor phase and liquid phase composition, how they are in equilibrium. Okay, so you can see with relative volatility. Okay, at first alpha 1 2, what does it shows? Alpha 1 2 meaning it is relative volatility of 1 with respect to 2. Okay, relative, we are coming about relative. If we are talking about two components, more and less volatile, how with respect to each other they are doing, hence we are introducing the term relative volatility. So alpha 1 2 means it is relative volatility of 1 with respect to 2. Okay, so you can see my component 1 is my more volatile component. Okay, so I am showing my volatility of component 1 with respect to 2, that is less volatile component. It means 5. Okay, the first line shows you 5. So you can see the difference between that first line and the diagonal. Okay, the difference is vast. It means your component 1, it can easily separate out in vapor phase. Okay, now as you can see in second curve, when relative volatility is 3, that difference has decreased. Okay, it means as compared to line 1, your curve 1, now alpha 1 2 equal to 3 means now difference has been decreased between y and x. It means now my vapors, okay, of my more volatile component in vapor is less as compared to the when alpha was 5. Okay, it means now it is hard for your more volatile component to escape into vapor phase. Okay, you can say that your more volatile component is not easily getting separated, okay, between the phases. The component in liquid is not able to get transfer into vapor phase because A and B, 1 and 2 component, both are having almost same volatilities. Okay, at alpha equal to 1. Okay, it means now your equilibrium curve is intersecting with diagonal alpha 1. You can see it is a diagonal line. It means y is equal to x. Okay, the composition of more volatile in liquid is same as that in vapor, so you can say it has no separation has taken place. Okay, so that is not feasible. Now moving forward, so this was how you are relating your relative volatility. Now we will see further how with increasing pressure your relative volatility decreases. Okay, now see over here, this graph was showing effect of relative volatility. Okay, this graph is showing you the effect of relative volatility on x and y composition. Now here is the effect of pressure. So from both the graphs I can say that as my pressure is increasing, okay, see here I am increasing the pressure. First is when your pressure is 1 atmosphere. When your pressure was 2nd atmosphere, the difference between y and x has decreased. Okay, so I can say that similar to, you can see in relative volatility diagram also, as your relative volatility has decreased, okay, your y and x difference is also decreased. So I can relate that as I'm increasing the pressure, relative volatility decreases. Okay, so you have to note it down. Increasing pressure decreases the relative volatility. Relate these two graphs. See, increasing pressure decrease the relative volatility. Okay, so now for equilibrium condition, we studied that temperature and pressures are my operating conditions. Okay, those are the operating condition. For a set of established temperature and pressure, I will get my y and x compositions. As I am changing the pressure or temperature conditions, my y and x will also change. Okay, so here same was the case. If I have increased my pressure to 2 atmosphere, okay, so now I will be getting a new set of equilibrium condition, y and x values. Okay, but we saw from relative volatility diagram also, y and x composition has changed, but the composition of y has decreased. It means now the separation, okay, the separation of more volatile component in vapor phase is less. Okay, this phase diagram you will study in detail in thermodynamics. Okay, let's relate the thermodynamics with mass transfer here. It is simply to know the extent, the maximum limit or the maximum temperature up to which you can operate your distillation column. Okay, see, it was established, discussed earlier also, for distillation, okay, the creation of two phases is compulsory, liquid and vapor phase. So we don't want to go to that maximum level of pressure when you are not able to differentiate liquid and vapor. If you are not able to differentiate, then it is of no use of distillation method. Okay, so TC, it is the critical pressure. It is the last point when your liquid and vapor phase are differentiable. Okay? So it gives you the maximum limit. Now we will relate how. So yes, you can see this is my TXY diagram, right guys? I am varying my temperature. Okay, here my pressure is constant, but the example which shows you, okay, at different constant pressures how your TXY diagram change. See, for example, at total pressure 1, okay, at PT1, my curve is broad. Okay, pressure was constant, the pressure constant was PT1. Okay, and corresponding equilibrium diagram Yx. Okay, in Yx diagram you can see the first equilibrium curve where PT1 is there. You can see the difference between y and x. It is so large. Okay, it means your more volatile component is being easily separated into vapor phase. The second case, when I am keeping at another constant pressure PT2, okay, that PT2 is more than PT1. Okay, here PT2 is more than PT1, and at that time the TXY diagram is, see, the curve has now gotten narrow. The curve has gotten narrow, and see the corresponding plot in XY diagram, your PT2, the difference between y and x has decreased. Okay, similarly at PT3, now PT3 is further more than PT2, hence a more narrow curve. Okay, similarly you can see in the XY diagram. Now look at PT4. What does PT4 shows? PT4 shows that the gap between those two curves, it is so small. It means up to that mole fraction only, the corresponding, when you plot from PT4 to the bottom line in the mole fraction section, so up to that mole fraction only liquid and vapor phase is there. Okay, the rest in PT4 you can see the curve in the right hand side is not touching the mole fraction curve in, okay, just like PT3, it is not touching the right hand side line. It means the gap which is there in PT4, for those parts, for those mole fraction area, you are not able to differentiate your liquid and vapor phases. Hence, your distillation operation, it can only be applicable until that curve is there. Okay, until a space between dew point and bubble point curve is there. Okay, similarly in PT5. Okay, see how narrow your curve has gotten now. It means till that mole fraction only your liquid and vapor phase exist together. For the rest of the blank space, you are not able to differentiate liquid and vapor phase. Hence, distillation operation is not applicable now. Corresponding to XY diagram, note down at PT4 line and PT5. See how it is merging with the diagonal. So you can see corresponding to PT4, okay, draw a vertical line in the mole fraction of A in the liquid, okay, in that line. Till that mole fraction only your separation is possible. Beyond that you can't separate. So see, I can say that my PT3 was the critical state, okay. See the effect of pressure on in equilibrium diagram, okay. As I am increasing the pressure, I am reducing the chances of separation. I am making relative volatility less, okay. I am decreasing the volatility, and because of that, difference between vapor and liquid phase composition is decreasing. Hence, now my distillation separation is getting difficult, okay. So PT3 is your maximum limit till which you can operate your distillation column, and your liquid and vapor phases exist. Now beyond PT3, see at PT4, up to certain mole fraction only you are able to differentiate your liquid and vapor phases. Okay. So hence I can say that beyond PT3 pressure we cannot differentiate liquid and vapor phase. So it is suggested that maximum limit is to operate till P3. Now here the critical state has been defined. Okay. So what is the critical state? Okay. It is a state attainable by chemically stable substance in which liquid and vapor phase have same density, okay. So critical state is what is that? In which you are not able to differentiate your liquid and vapor phase. Of course you can see it has same density, okay. Vapor and liquid phase have same density, hence you are not able to differentiate the phases. So we are not supposed to operate at critical state, okay. So that was for today's lecture. Thank you.